Hello viewers, my name is Molly Businge Kateipa. I want to welcome you once again on our YouTube channel called Twaburane Family Connect. I want to appreciate those of you who have subscribed already and those who have given us their likes. You give us energy to keep moving. You know, they say that a journey of 1,000 miles or 10,000 miles always starts with one step. So this month we happen to launch our YouTube channel, and we are still in the time of gaining momentum. So your support is highly welcome. So those of you who have not yet subscribed, please subscribe and join us so that you will keep updated on whatever is happening here. If you are in family, if you want to get married, this is a channel where family matters. Here we discuss marriage, we discuss family, we discuss community, we transform lives and families. We talk about relationship and everything that concerns family. At Twaburane Family Matters. Today, I happen to have my friend. She will be introducing herself. She's my friend. I've watched her. She has watched me. We do life together. So, Anne, you're welcome.
Thank you, Molly. I'm so happy to be on your channel. It's one of the milestones that I'm so proud of you, that you're able to put this together for the family and for the marriages that is most important in our lives. Yeah.
Yes.
My name is Annette Katsime Mhumza. I'm also married. I'm a mother, and I love family.
So, and this is what we are talking about, having people around you who share the same vision with you, people who you can do life together. Even when you're married, you don't need to be alone. Even when you're in a family, you don't need to be alone. You need models, you need backup support system, you need friends who can pull your hand, and I can say that she's one of them. So last time we're here talking about marriage, talking about family. I was here endeavoring to make sure I put a clear mark between family and marriage. And I discussed that marriage is the foundation of family. Marriage is where family sits on the shoulders of marriage. So it is very important for us to know that those two feed each other, though one is the foundation of the other. I emphasize the fact that the relationship between a man and a woman will determine how strong the family is. And even the Bible says that a wise man builds on the rock, but a foolish man builds on the sand. So if your marriage as a couple is not strong, if your relationship is not strong, if you are not, you have not built that inner system in your marriage that is very strong enough, the family will not withhold the pressures of life. Your family will not withstand the winds and the waves and the influences, both external and internal, when they come. So, Anne, I talked about marriage, and I emphasized here that marriage is the foundation.
And yes, you're very true. And maybe if we can get closer to knowing what a foundation is in marriage, to me, I see trust is part of the particles of the things that is included in the foundation. We look at also godly values. Is your marriage on the foundation of, biblical principles? We're looking also at the foundation of the ingredients of perseverance. Yes, I'm trying to see what the foundation is all about.
That are involved in building the foundation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because when they say when trust is broken, we have nothing. So maybe if we can also look through the trust, the vision, the perseverance to build this together. And that is also very key. The foundation indeed is stronger. It should be stronger than the walls and the whatever is on the roof. I'm looking
on the
on
full
the
house.
roof on the full house, and we're looking at a full house as
the family, brothers, sisters, children, extended families. And what you said is true, because I was here trying to explain that after I talked about the foundation of marriage, I talked about the things we need to build the so-called family and even marriage. So you talked about trust. Of course, as we talk about marriage, when we talked about that marriage is the foundation of family, what are the ingredients, like you said, that we need in the foundation as we build marriage? You talked about trust. We need to respect one another. We need to have vision. I talked about vision. I talked about being united. I talked about a God factor, knowing that we know, all of us, that family was oriented by God, was founded by God. It is the blueprint of God. So we cannot run marriages without God.
Absolutely. And God being the greatest of all, the foundation, because it's an institution that was authored by God. When we look through Genesis, when God created Adam and Eve, there was a purpose for procreation. And we see that before the procreation, there was two individuals,
the marriage
together. They had to get to know each other. They had to
do life together.
To
build together.
And like you mentioned today, that's why we see there's a lot of shaking foundations. Why? Because these ingredients that build
the marriage,
maybe we have not been so keen to them. We have not prioritized our marriage to build these ingredients. And just like you mentioned, and unfortunately, with the building, a foundation might not be able to redo the foundation unless you break it. But with marriage, it's a living thing. It's a work in progress. It's something that you have to do on a daily basis.
Yes, you cannot say that I've built the foundation of marriage, I have finished.
No.
You keep innovating, you keep adding, you keep visiting to see if I had built trust, because at times you can reach in the way, and then the trust is diluted by maybe external forces, maybe by hurts and conflicts that we go through. So you still need to go back and take some cement and mix and say trust had gotten shaken. Let me emphasize I tie the knot again.
Absolutely. So it's just a foundation, we usually refer to a house, but it's just a figurative bit of speech of like, I want to build my marriage just like a strong foundation of any strong building. But like you mentioned, it's key that we have to be intentional about building this foundation.
Talking about intentionality, I want to dive into another point of how can we be intentional. How can we prioritize our marriages? Because the other day I was at home and I have a girl who washes for me clothes, and I was telling her, please, when you're going to wash, make sure that my husband's clothes are the first. And she started laughing, saying, but every time I come here to wash, you tell me to first wash your husband's clothes. I said, yes, because my husband is the first thing in this home.
Wow.
These children we are raising are going to grow and leave me. They found me with this husband. They are going to leave me, and even anything else, I will still be with him. So and I told her that with my husband I can get more children, but with these children I cannot get another husband.
Okay, that's another one.
Yeah, because with him I can give birth even 10 more kids. But with my children, can I get a husband like him? No.
It's absolutely
So that is why it is important that we emphasize. I know, like you said, these days people don't know the real essence of emphasizing the relationship between a man and woman, and make and characterize it so that we know that really our foundation, whether the winds come, whether the rains come, it is strong. And like you said, it is a continuous process. We keep building, we keep adding on, we keep innovating, we keep searching and reading and improving to see how better, because my husband maybe liked Matoke when we were in courtship. But as time go on, someone says, I no longer like matoke, but you cannot say, I will keep cooking for you matoke because you like matoke. As we go on, people evolve in their needs, in their desires, even aspirations. Someone might have wanted to do maybe this business, but as they grow, they say it loses meaning and influence in their life, and then they aspire for something else. So it, like you said, it is a continuous work. And doing that continuous work, that means we have to be intentional. You have to be intentional. You have to put your ears on the ground, and you have to keep sensitive, knowing what has changed, what new should come in, what old should we remove, so that we can keep building.
Yeah, Mol, and I love the way you brought up the small issues. By the marriage is not broken by extravagant behaviors. It's the small things that you keep doing that increase or elevate the situation. You just gave a scenario of prioritizing your husband's clothes being washed. In you may not even notice it, but in you, you're trying to bring him to that point of he matters.
I know.
Yeah? And I also hope that you also create something for you that will show that you matter to him. And life is just filled with simple surprises.
Yes.
For example, you know, every time we dive into marriage, people think maybe you have to get out beyond the moon to do things, or to be intentional about small things. For example, birthday, celebrating your wins together. Or you're together and then something has happened. Can you be the first person someone can trust to rely on you, to talk to you, to have that meaningful conversation together? Is there a me time, quality time together? You said we have 24 hours in a day. Is there a time that you feel maybe this is a moment for me and my husband to have that meaningful relation together? It may not be on a daily basis, but even in a week, are there things that we are setting up together to say maybe this one day in a week, let it be our day?
Yes.
And our day meaning talk about stuff. You know, they say marry your friend. Or they say, there's a friend of mine once told me about the theory of marriage in their culture. For them, they relate marriage as a pot filled with water on the fire. The water is cold, the pot is cold, and the fire gets in. You know what happens? As the fire increases, the pot starts burning and burning and burning. Then he also gives that in other scenarios, you put the fire, there's hot water in the fire, there's hot water in the pot, and there's fire down. The water is already hot, there's little fire down, and the water at the end of it all cools. So he said, those are two scenarios. One, a culture of where you start, you don't know even where you're going. And I think most of us start from that point. You have this friend, maybe you started as friends and you didn't even know marriage is even happening, is going to happen. But at that moment, it's like you start step by step. You know, you get to know this person, and then love starts being built. Like it's boiling. The first scenario, the love is boiling, and you keep putting the fire. Other than having this thing of, you know, you've gotten to know each other, a lot is happening. Somehow, love, the water cools down. And he was mentioning that for them in their culture, it's more of the fire. It's important to keep
the fire burning down.
To keep the fire burning. That's why I mentioned that the foundation of marriage, it is a living thing. You have to keep fueling it with these small things. Having time with your spouse, that is one of them.
Yes.
Talking about trust issues, you know, maybe we are all human. At some point, there's that bit we err, we collide, absolutely.
Our backgrounds.
But if we can have, that's why even in building the foundation, there's what we call communication. Are you
Open
able to
communication.
have that open communication
Yes.
with your spouse? Can you be able to talk about anything that you're not remorseful to say, now this I want to mention?
Yeah.
I think we need to get to that point, because our actions, the things we do, if more I do not have that moment of joking with my husband, like you mentioned, it will also somehow affect
Of course, the
the
family.
children.
That's true.
They will be like, I think
We never see mommy
husband and
and dad.
wife,
They are serious business.
it's a serious business that no one has to really joke around. But we are human,
Yeah.
and every adult in us, there's that inner little
Child.
Anne,
Yes.
that little child that once in a while we need to bring it up with our spouse. Play, joke,
Have vocations.
laugh, pat someone. It's not supposed to be something that is
Official. You need to make
cut
an
in stone.
appointment.
This is, you know. So those are things also that can
Yes,
be
build the
mindful.
foundation.
Yeah, you be
Yes.
mindful.
We need to be intentional. You know, life is not automatic, and so is marriage. People think, people think that when you talk about marriage, it's like marriage, we just marry. But the truth is, we do not prepare ourselves for marriages.
No one.
And when we reach there's a friend of mine who said, after she had been married for some years, I asked her, so how is marriage? She was like, More, why didn't you tell me that this is what happens in marriage? Then I asked her, did you ask me? You were even nowhere to be seen. And I was there and I received your invitation to come for your wedding. So how would I have told you 1,000 things in an atmosphere of your absence? So we do not train and we do not prepare ourselves for marriage.
True.
We prepare ourselves for our careers, we prepare ourselves for promotions, for any other thing, but we don't prepare for ourselves for marriage. So it is very important to know for us that marriage is the foundation. When we are building a foundation, we must choose right ingredients. And depending on what kind of marriage you're going to build, for example, if someone is going to build a grass-hatched house, they will not make a foundation like someone who's going to build a 5-star hotel. So even the kind of marriage we want to build, the vision that we have, the foresight that we have for our future determines the kind of foundation we are going to build. So we need to be very intentional. I always tell the young people that before even you look for a pattern, first discover your vision.
True.
Why? Because where you're going determines the kind of people you're going to carry along. We see Abraham, when God called him from his father's house and told him to go to another land that he would show him. He had to be specific, the people he was going with. The people God had not told him to go with, like Lot, along the way, they became pain in his shoes. They became pain in his vision. And to the great point, they started disagreeing. Their workers started disagreeing. Why? Because Lot was not among the plan of God. And we know how he ended. So it is very important for us as we build our marriage to know that we have a lot of waves that will come both from external and internal. Our background influences us. What we have gone through, the experiences we have. Some people have been heartbroken like 3 times. Some people have been in 10 relationships. All that is a pile of baggage that is behind where we don't see. So it is very important for us to sit down. If you happen to get a woman, or even when you're already married, and sit down and understand the kind of person you are building with. What are their vision? Like now, if you ask someone, I would like someone to ask their pattern, what is your vision in the next 5 minutes? Where do you see yourself? Because the Bible says that people without a vision, they perish. So if you are a family, if you are a marriage, and you don't have a vision, and that is why I started by talking about a vision, because I want to build this from the foundation. And I emphasize even marriage, because marriage, we need intentionality, because these days things are no longer automatic. What used to be normal has become abnormal. What used to be abnormal has become normal. To the point that someone will wake up in the morning and say, me, I'm done with marriage.